there, it's Joanna, and today let's talk about the themes for 2025. So I will share with you the main theme that I noticed from doing almost 100 readings, channeled readings for the year at the end of last year, plus what I'm feeling myself about the energetic weather for the year, plus what numerology tells us about what's important this year or what part of the cycle we're in this year. We'll put it all together into some pretty clear focus areas for the year ahead. And I will share with you what I'm doing with the information personally and how I'm using it in conjunction with the themes that I know are important, significant for me personally this year. And after all that, I will show you a really quick and easy way to find your own personal numerology theme for 2025, so that you too can put it together with the collective theme and kind of just add personal context to the energetic weather. So before we go further, if you're new here, hi, my name is Joanna. On this channel, I talk about intuition, about intentional living, about magical living. I work very closely with my spirit team called the Avalon Collective, or Avalon for short. Our joint purpose with Avalon is to bring the power and the magic back to the individual. So that is anything to do with helping you strengthen your intuitive connection, live your life with more intention, really have the courage to identify and choose for what you really, really want, what's really aligned for you, and how to stay in that alignment as well. And anything to do with working with that energetic piece of the world, the energy that runs under everything that we experience physically, because when we co-create using that energetic piece, we can see real results in the physical world. And all these things together help us to live more aligned, happier, more fulfilling lives. And that's what it's all about, right? That's what we all want. Okay, so let's talk about the energy of 2025. So, first of all, these are not predictions that we're talking about. This is more like the energetic weather. So, the energetic weather is what the energetic weather is, and you will have some choices based on your personal circumstances to kind of weather the storms and enjoy the sunny spells like you would with actual physical weather. But I think it's important to know that, you always have agency, you always have choices. It's not that we can make a prediction about the year that is completely set in stone. We don't know everything. Essentially, we don't know everything. And that's okay. So anyway, in the last months of 2024, I channeled and delivered almost 100 readings for the year to various people, a variety of people from different countries, different backgrounds, different walks of life. And I noticed a theme. Well, I noticed several themes, but I noticed one particular theme running through really a lot of them, really a lot of them. And it was coming up so often that it was beyond, just coincidence or, yeah, I was using various cards and various methods, and the same theme kept coming up. So, when that happens, you pay attention, right? And although each reading was specific to that particular person that I was reading for, like I always connect with somebody's soul energy when I do my readings, so they're very, very specific to that person. As I said, I noticed that these messages, or particularly this one theme, was coming up over and over again. So what is this theme that's running through the collective, let's say? The main theme is community and relationship and partnership. Now, this isn't like romantic. This isn't, oh, it can be, I suppose. But it's not that specific. It's more about how you show up in partnership, how you allow partnership and community to support you and to also like give you an opportunity to support others. It's really about you and the collective. The message is clearly this: you don't need to be doing everything on your own. You don't need to figure it all out on your own. You don't need to push it into being on your own. You're not alone is the main message. Over and over again, the guidance was about allowing partnership, about like going out into the world and being in community and co-creating. So I often talk about co-creating versus creating, right? Like in the personal development and manifesting spaces, especially, we're so used to people talking about creating things for yourself or for your life, you know? And I just think that's not always helpful to think about it that way because creating something when it's reliant only on you is like it just feels hard, you know? Whereas co-creating with others, co-creating with spirit, co-creating with your soul, it's it's supported, you know? You don't have to do it on your own. You have help, you have guidance, you have access to all this, and you can say yes to it so that you stop perpetuating this story of having to do it on your own, whatever it is, right? And I think this is so timely, right? Because we have become so isolated in the world. Like we're all living in in our own little houses, and we've lost that sense of community. We've lost that sense of we're all in it together, that sense of togetherness, you know? We were just all taught to be self-sufficient and not have to rely on anybody for anything. And I don't know, like sometimes I think, is that really the way forward? I thought about this a lot when I had a young child, you know? In the olden days, children were brought up by communities. Like other people were involved essentially, you know, and you still see this in big families in certain cultures, but I didn't have that. And I felt like I was missing out on something, you know, not just support, but also that camaraderie and the sense of not everything not like being on my shoulders, you know? Apparently now in 2025, it's important to let other people in. So to join communities, to work in partnership, to co-create, to not just push through with the power of your will and your determination, you know, but to do it together. And it sounds so vague and sometimes maybe a bit trite as well. However, I really feel like this is the way forward, like that sense of togetherness and letting other people in is really, really important. So, we'll talk about this a little bit more in a minute. But if you want to pause this video and take out a journal and just jot down some ideas, what's coming to you, you know, do you have communities that come up for you as supportive, as ones that you want to be part of? Do you not? You know, have you had a project in mind, you know, where you could ask to work with someone else or you could ask someone else to be involved? Like, what are some opportunities that you can create for yourself to really tap into this power of community and being in partnership with others, with the world? Now, if you don't have communities that you are feeling supported and uplifted in, that, you know, that really align with where you want to go and what you want to focus on, then please do check out my own elevator community. It's a great space for practicing your intuition, for living more in alignment, for like staying on track with all the things that we've talked about, you know, with intuition, with intention, with magic, magical living, working with the energies rather than just what we can see in reality. And community there is really useful because all this stuff kind of falls out the window very quickly as soon as any, you know, life stuff comes up, which is a lot. And it's kinda hard to stay on track with those particular things that are so important to our sense of happiness and fulfillment and even success. So if you are looking for a community, then make sure you check out the elevator that will be linked below. Now, let's look at the numerology of 2025. So, how do we find the number of 2025? We just add up the digits of the year. So, 2 plus 0 plus 2 plus 5, and that equals 9. So, 2025 is a number 9 year. Number 9 is a really, really interesting number. It's considered to be a magical number in many traditions. It has like some really interesting, crazy interesting mathematical properties. So I'm just going to read it out here from the screen. It is the highest single digit number, and any number multiplied by 9 will always result in a number whose digits add up to 9. And I remember discovering this fact about the number 9 when my son was doing taekwondo when he was younger. And there was something about like there being 9 positions or something. Like, anyway, he needed to know this for one of his exams. And we spent so much time like trying to disprove this, so trying to find combinations of numbers that then did not result in a number whose digits would add up to 9, and we couldn't. So I could not believe my eyes when I found this out, and it's just always stuck with me. So number 9 is really magical. There's something really magical about it that we can't like we don't understand why. I mean, maybe mathematicians do, but I don't. It is also considered to be the number of completion, the end of a cycle, and in tarot, it is associated with the Hermit card. Now, the Hermit card is about your inner world, right? Like it's literally the hermit. It's the card of retreating from the world into your inner space so that you can tune out the noise of everybody else and access your intuition, your inner wisdom, it's a focus on the inner wisdom. And so you may notice that the hermit energy seems to be the exact opposite of the theme that I noticed was running through all the readings that I did for the year, right? And it's really interesting because these two concepts of the hermit and being in community or partnership seem to be opposite. On the one hand, the message to co-create with other people and go out into the world and be in community. And on the other hand, the importance of honing your intuition and making space to listen to your inner voice and shutting out the world. But when we look closer, we see that these two energies actually work together beautifully and they really complement each other. So, first of all, let's think about that end of the cycle piece. So this year is the end of a cycle. What if it's a change in how we show up in community, how we work with others? Like, not in a way that's disempowering, not in a way that means that we give leadership to other people, that we look to other people for answers, but in a more empowered way, right? When we look at it in that sense, then that hermit card becomes step one to being able to be in a really fulfilling and empowering partnership, because you need to understand your own point of view, your own truth. You need to hear your own intuitive voice before you can go into a partnership in a powerful, grounded, centered way, right? So that you don't lose yourself in the group, so that you don't lose yourself in the community. And for me, that's one of the most important things about the energy of the year that I really feel. There's so much stuff going on in the collective where we can just be swept away, with fake news and trends and fads and all sorts of stuff and other people's agendas. So it becomes more and more important to understand what our own truth is, what we really believe, what really matters to us. So the hermit card isn't telling us to retreat from the world and like not participate. No, absolutely not. The world needs our participation, but it needs our participation in a strong, centered, grounded, empowered way. Like, it needs people who know what they stand for and are willing to stand up for it, right? It needs people who are true to themselves and are from this aligned, more grounded space, really moving towards things, co-creating things that matter, that are important, and that can bring real change both to our individual lives and to the collective. And the other thing that I feel is really, really important here in this link between that hermit energy and the partnership community energy is how they are connected, right? They are not two separate things, even though on the surface they seem to be two separate things and they seem to be opposites even, right? But no, they're connected. I feel like what we're being told is that what we focus on that individual hermit level, on that inner level, is going to influence the community and the collective consciousness, the collective in general, the world, right? So I feel like the words be the change that you want to see in the world can't be any truer, you know? It's really that energy. It's really that piece of understanding that if you want to see peace in the world, then you need to cultivate peace in yourself. Now, this doesn't mean that you're going to be cultivating peace in yourself to the detriment of everybody else. Again, the message of the hermit this particular year, I don't feel is to retreat from the world. It is the opposite. It is to understand what you stand for and then show up in communities so that you can co-create with others from that same empowered, passionate space, you know, to co-create something that we all want and that we will all benefit from. So I feel like that's really, really important. And it makes that hermit energy of working on your inner world, on your intuitive link, on your alignment, on your energy so much more important, right? Because it's not just for you. It's also for the collective and it will show up in the collective. Whatever you're doing for yourself in that hermit space will influence the collective. And I think that's a really important message to bring forward. I did some journaling about this yesterday myself, starting with, well, what do I want to see more of in the world? There is a lot in the world right now that I don't want to be seeing that I really disagree with. And yeah, that's not for this video, but there's just a lot that I'm very opposed to. And instead of staying in that opposed space, I asked myself, well, what do I want to see more of in the world? And what I want to see more of is kindness and peace and people looking out for each other. And so, although I may not have as much power as I'd like to make those changes globally, I have influence over those things in my personal life, in my family, in my communities. And these values can influence how I show up in the world, in my work, with you, everything that I do have influence over. So that's one way that I am using this energy myself. The other way that I'm making sure to actually implement these concepts is to recommit to my intuition, to my spiritual connection, to my inner world, to my energy. Like, I feel like I've had a couple of years of upheaval now, well, many years of upheaval now. And I feel like somewhere along the way, I kind of lost um trust in that energetic piece. And in the last few months, I've been building that back up. And that's going to be more and more important to me moving forward. And I've already seen the difference that it makes in the things that are showing up for me in my life. So I will be putting a strong emphasis on my intuitive connection and on my spiritual connection. And I will also be putting a lot of emphasis on going out into the world and co-creating. Now, this is not really a strength of mine. I'm very comfortable sitting in my office space and journaling and paying attention to the inner world. That is definitely my safe space. It does require some courage and some effort to go out into the world, into communities, to co-create, to approach people about partnerships. And I am challenging myself to do more of that this year. So that's just two ways that I'm noticing these themes showing up for me and the questions I'm asking myself and the things I'm playing with. So I hope that gives you something to play with as well. Please do leave me a comment and let me know. Now, finally, just a word about your own personal theme of the year or themes of the year. So just like the collective has this energetic weather for the calendar year, so do you. You have your own personal weather system as well, or weather conditions rather, maybe not system, weather conditions as well. So just like we can add the digits of the year to get to the number of the year, we can add the digits of your birth date, the month and the day. You add those digits to the digits of the current year and you have your own energetic themes based on that. So for me, my birthday is on December 13th. So I added up 1 plus 2 for December, plus 1 plus 3 for the 13th, plus the digits of 2025, and I come up with the number 16. So my primary theme, and I should do a video on primary and secondary themes as well, but this one's getting a bit long, so I didn't want to include it in here. My primary theme for the year is the number 16, and since I work with the tarot, that is the Tower card, which I am not super thrilled about, and I'm trying not to panic about, the Tower card is not my favorite. Essentially, the Tower card is about the destruction of whatever's no longer aligned, whatever no longer belongs in your life, whatever needs to go for you to continue on your most aligned soul path. Destruction so that something new can be created. So I'll be looking at this in the light of the Hermit energy and the partnership energy in terms of paying attention to whatever I need to let go of in these areas. Off the top of my head and based on the journaling that I've already done about this, which isn't a lot because I'm going to be working with this for the whole year, but I have just made a start. At the moment, I'm thinking about the fears that I need to let go of in order to do things like record this video or put it into a podcast, or actually talk to wider groups of people and hopefully create community around these topics so that we can move into more of a co-creation space together. So I'll definitely be thinking about that. And the tarot card of the Tower is also about going with the flow of change and not resisting changes, not resisting the flow the way it needs to happen. So I'm going to be paying attention to that as well, and where I am resisting moving into new areas or new ways of doing things. Maybe where I'm resisting moving into partnership, perhaps I have some competition stuff left over from my high ambition days, my high ambition identity. So I'll just be paying attention to that, and I'll be paying extra attention to any opportunities that come up around being in partnership or working with other people on projects, because I do have a tendency to just trying to do everything by myself and to think that that's the best way forward. But that's clearly not the message for the year, not the energetic weather. And so I want to make the most out of what's available. And if community and partnership is available to me, then I want to make sure that I take advantage of that and that I allow it to support me and that I allow myself to support it as well. So to be in that relationship with the world. So that's what I'm paying attention to myself. Go ahead and add up your numbers as well. And let me know in the comments if you want to about what you got and what you think it means. And just remember that you don't have to have all the answers right now. These are themes for the year to work with through the entirety of 2025. But just know that these things are a process. It's not like you do it at the start of the year and then you have all your answers and then, you do some journaling and then that's it. No, these things unfold. They're a process. They go deeper. They have layers, they unfold as the year progresses. And that's kind of the point. Like the point is in the journey and the growth that comes with that journey. Okay, so I think that is all I wanted to say. I hope that you found this interesting, and I will see you in another video. Bye-bye.